Hello there, and welcome to episode 9. Yes, we are now at episode 9 of the Positive Word of the Week. Every Sunday, we post videos to inspire and motivate you to take on the day and to make it amazing. And today, we'd like to talk about a very special word. Before we get to that, if you haven't done so before, this is your first time watching, make sure you click like, please. Click subscribe. That helps more than you know. And please share this video with someone who could use an encouraging word today. Today's word is goals. Now, when I first started this series, this was actually the word I wanted to start with. But then other words came up and said, that's good, that's important, that's good. It's episode 9, and we're finally getting around to this one that I wanted to start with. And like I said, the word is goals. I remember many, okay, I can't say many years ago, but it's been a few years when someone I looked up to looked at me and said, "Do you have a BHAG?" B-H-A-G, BHAG. Now, if you've never heard of a BHAG, you're probably tilting your head a little bit, looking at me like I'm crazy, like I looked at him like he was crazy. A BHAG is a big, hairy, audacious goal. Something huge, something that is at least a 2 to 5, maybe even a 10-year plan, something you want to achieve. At the time this was said, I was a student at Alamance Community College going for an associate's degree in business. My big, hairy, audacious goal was to get a master's degree in business. Have I achieved it? No, I have not. I've got a bachelor's degree. Master's is next. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit. The big, hairy, audacious goal is something you can't just do all at once. So everyone, in my opinion, needs one of these. Do you have a big, hairy, audacious goal? If not, take a few moments and just think about what would you want to accomplish, something big, something possibly life-changing, and write that down. The reason I say write that down is because having a goal motivates you. It isn't just good to know where you're going. I'll get to that part in a second, but having a goal motivates you to get there. Zig Ziglar, many years ago, and I can say many years ago on this one, because I think this is in the 80s or the 90s where he recorded this, and he talked about, imagine if you were to go into a contest against someone. I think he used target shooting. We gave you I think it was a pistol. We gave you the pistol to use. You got your target, and you're going to go up against the world champion target shooter. Now, these days you could add any type of shooting, even basketball. Okay, maybe you want to go something a little bit less violent. You want to go with a free throw contest. We're going to put you out there with a basketball, with a bunch of basketballs, and see how many you can get in a certain time frame. But your competition is the previous year's world champion in that. Now, regardless of the competition, how confident would you feel? Probably not very confident. Going up against the world champion target shooter, or going up against the world champion free throw shooter, whatever the case may be, you wouldn't feel very confident. And then he said, okay, we're going to take this one step further. We blindfold the world champion so he can't see where his target is. Now, in target shooting, that's dangerous. That's why I kind of took that off the table. We don't want anybody getting shot. But in free throw shooting, what's the worst that's going to happen? You get hit in the head with the basketball. So they blindfold the world champion before he goes onto the court. And he has to find his way to the free throw line, blindfolded, and shoot his shot. Now, muscle memory will account for a lot, but would you feel a little bit better about your chances? Most people would. I would. Would I still probably lose? I mean, he is the world champion for a reason. but I feel a lot better about my chances of, hey, I might actually be able to do this. And then Zig said, now you might think to yourself, this is a bit of a ridiculous example because he can't even see the target. Which is more ridiculous? Him shooting a target he can't see, or you hitting a goal you don't even have? Take a minute, back that video up and watch that again. What's more ridiculous, the world champion hitting a target he can't see, or you hitting a goal you don't even have? That's why goal setting is so important. And that's why it's so important to have a big, hairy, audacious goal. But that's not it. There's more to the story. You see, if all you have is a big, hairy, audacious goal, then you give yourself the allotted amount of time to get there, and you don't get there, you're going to feel discouraged, like I did. You see, after community college, I didn't go straight to the four-year university because I wanted to get a job. Then I couldn't get a job. And then things started going down this vicious spiral for me of, I don't feel worthy enough to do this. And it took me a long time to go back to actually get that bachelor's degree. How do you combat the frustration of not reaching your long-term goal, but still keep a long-term goal? It's actually very simple. And again, you'll hear me say this many times, simple does not mean easy, but it's very simple. Short-term goals that build towards your long-term goals. Not just what you want to do in 10 years. What do you want to have accomplished in 1 year? What do you want to have accomplished in 6 months, 1 month, 1 week? What do you want to accomplish today that will build toward your long-term, your 10-year goal, your big, hairy, audacious goal? And you think, well, this sounds good, but what's this got to do with imposter syndrome? Because I talk a lot about imposter syndrome. People are expecting videos to be about imposter syndrome now. So what does this have to do with that? Overcoming imposter syndrome and putting it in the rearview mirror is a big, hairy, audacious goal. It is. Because the simple fact is, imposter syndrome can strike at any time. So rather than looking to that long-term goal of, I'm going to put imposter syndrome completely in the past, what we could do is give ourselves, like Alcoholics Anonymous, not a lifetime without drinking, a day without drinking. Okay, maybe a day's too much, an hour without drinking. You go 1 hour, then you go another hour. Maybe a lifetime without negative self-talk is too much. Scale it down. Maybe a week, maybe a day. And again, maybe even just an hour. You don't feel like you're up to the challenge of a lifetime without negative self-talk. That's okay. Go with smaller goals that build up toward that. And before you realize it, you've conquered it. But you have to have that goal. You have to know where you are going, or you will never have the motivation to get there or even know where there is. So I ask again, what is your big, hairy, audacious goal? If you like what you've heard today, please, again, click that like button, click subscribe. It helps us so much. And share this video with someone who needs to know that having a goal is that important and how they can set up smaller goals to reach that larger goal, that big, hairy, audacious goal.